So I started out just like everybody does, doing a note run on the island. I do not like the island at all. I hate that map. So I usually do my first note run there so I can save the notes on the other servers in case I end up moving to them to use for grinding, level up, getting the XP notes. And like if I live on Extinction, I like to keep those notes for later grinding to hit them higher levels. But yeah, so I usually do that first note run on the island, get to a decent level, something in like the 70s, 80s, depending on the rates, and then transfer off to my main server, start farming and get shit ready. So once I finished doing that note run, I figured I guess my plan was to go to Gen 2 and farm up. Early off in the wipe, the tech suit's disabled on these MTS servers, so it really wouldn't be a viable plan starting out, but since I'm so late and the tech suit is enabled, then the best way to farm as a solo starting out with nothing is tech punching, in my opinion. So decided to go to Gen 2, find a little sneaky, shicey rat hole. Not even a rat hole, just like a little crack in the side of a hill next to a terminal, so I could punch metal nodes, cook them into metal ingots, and then transfer them off the server. My plan was to cook up a few hundred metal ingots so I could place down a starter base and get started crafting up like a home base, but for now I just needed to cook. So the whole time I was farming and doing that note run, I was tabbing over to the MTS server and pretty much messaging everybody on MTS looking for tribe. I was thinking about doing a solo series and seeing how far I could get on MTS as a solo, but that's a lot of work. I'm not the best Ark player and I have a lot to learn, and it's really lonely. Like it's a lot of fun and stuff, but like just after like a week of just sitting here by yourself, not talking to anybody, it's kind of lonely. I much prefer to play with people. So I finally found this dude, and I started talking on Discord, and he said that they were living in a Gen 1 map and they were looking for a fifth. And so I said, screw it, I'll join. So I dropped what I was doing and went over to Gen 1 and got tribed up. The dude seemed pretty cool, and there was one dude that was in the tribe that was so there was two dudes on Discord, and they both seemed pretty cool, and I was like, screw it, I'll just start playing with these guys. And yeah, so they invited me in, and basically they were living in like a ceiling roof cave on Gen 1 at the bottom of the ocean. It's like a little rat hole, not a lot of space. It had two entrances, like one big entrance and one little meshy hole entrance. And they had some heavies and auto turrets set up on either side, blocking it. A couple of industrial forges, some Ken benches, Thabbies. Just basic little rat hole, set up right. Everything's all squished together. Not like a Mega Drive crafting station. But I thought, screw it, this is a good enough start to get going. And so I joined these dudes and started playing with these new pugs. So before I go any further, I just wanted to clarify one thing. I'm not about talking trash and just being like a trash talker, like a loudmouth. So I hope this video doesn't come off as like me complaining or trash talking a dude. It was just my genuine experience with the group of people that I played with. And so that being said, I'm not going to include the audio of the conversations that I had with these people because some of it's not appropriate for YouTube, and second, it got a little heated at times, and I just really don't want to put this random people that I don't know on blast because I'm just not like that. So I'm gonna narrate kind of the stuff that went down on the first couple of days of the tribe, and I'm sorry, but I'm not going to include the audio because yeah, there's no need for that kind of like extra negativity. I'm trying to make this video as positive as possible about my negative experience. So yeah, I just wanted to clarify that because for the rest of the footage, I'm using a recording software that kind of merges my Discord sound with my in-game sound, and I haven't gotten up the sound separator software, so I can't really filter out Discord, and so there's not going to be any gameplay sound. There's just going to be music in the background, but there's not going to be gameplay of me playing because that's mixed with our conversation, and I don't think any sound engineer in the world would want to try to cut out people's voices from audio. It would be a nightmare. Yeah, so I just wanted to put that out there. So yeah, now that I was playing with these guys and they already had a base established, they kind of like accelerated my times tables here. I was expecting to have to build up and do all this stuff, but they already had everything, so I transferred all the metal that I had, which wasn't that much, and basically came up with a list. Checked our dinosaur situation, and it was kind of weak. We didn't really have a lot of things. They had some Carquinos and a couple of shit RGs, and maybe I think like one or two Maywings, and that was it. So I figured plan of action would be to get some mobility mounts, tame up Cinemacrops, Pteranodons, and Maywing so that we can get around the map and find other tames and farm up the resources that we needed. So I proceeded to knock out those tasks. The tribe leader went out and tried to tame some of the vampire bat things. I forget their name, Desmodiuses. And I went around all over the place looking for PTs to start out. And then I made a trip down to the Lost Island and tamed up a bunch of Cinemacrops. And then I went to Gen 2 and tamed up a Maywing breeding pair, mated them, got the eggs, and then came back home to base. And then I went off to Valguero to get more PTs and Deinonychus eggs. And I did all of this in like the first 2 hours of being in the tribe. Well, I guess, while I was off taming all the dinosaurs and stuff, the tribe leader was out trying to get this Moduses and, or whatever the fuck they're called. And it wasn't really going very well. He was getting his butt whooped, he wasn't prepared, and when he finally did tame one, I guess he got jumped on by another player that had an actual PvP kit. As it turns out, later on I find out this guy likes to roll without a PvP kit when he leaves the base and does stuff. So I guess he got rolled up on, jumped, killed, and came back home with no tames. And decided that it was time to do a metal run. And that everybody, like basically I had to stop what I was doing to come help him with metal run. Which I've worked with a few people in Ark that are like that when they're having a bad time, I guess everybody has to have a bad time because they're the tribe leader. It says owner next to their name. But you know, in fear of not being kicked, I say in fear of, I've played this game long enough to know that if you piss off the guy that says owner next to his name, all they do is just kick you and the auto turrets kill you, right? The heavies kill you and you're out of the tribe. So you kind of got to play this politics sometimes, which really sucks. I've rarely ever had groups where everybody's cohesive and cool, like, you know, like a well-oiled machine. It's usually some egotistical dude who goes out of his way to be tribe leader and then just goes on a kicking spree or crazy spree and basically got to like follow him or get kicked. And so it's like, do I lose my time investment and speak up against them, or do I just deal with it and go along with it and continue playing the game? And yeah, so I kind of chose the latter. I was like, this guy's gonna be one of those, you know, bossy people that if you stand up to him, they might. I was worried about getting kicked, so I was just like, screw it, I'll go along with it. And so I came back, dumped my stuff, and we got a Kinky, a Carquinos and an Anki, and we went to do what he phrased to be a big fat metal run. So anytime I leave the base, I like to pretty much have like a basic PvP kit or a PvE kit. Flak, whip, med brews, parachutes, grappling hooks. You know, you can be on an Inky and get picked by an RG. If you have a grappling hook, you can, you know, grapple out of it. If you have a whip, you can whip the Inky, or you can whip the weapon out of the guy's hand. You know, basic PvP kit. So I get back to base, and the tribe leader's like, "Yo, let's go on the metal run." I'm like, "All right, let's go on the metal run." And so I'm looking for gear. I'm still learning my way around the base, right? And so I get like a flat kit. You know, I'll take a crossbow. And he's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm just grabbing a kit." And he's like, "No, don't bring a kit. Just go." And I was like, "Yeah, I don't play that way. Sorry." And he's like, "Bro, just get a kit and go." And I'm like, "How about you let me play the way I play, and you play the way that you play?" And so they didn't have an industrial cooker, so I had to cook up some med brews. And you know, the thing takes a little while, so it's like 5 minutes, and I cooked up 10 med brews. Dude couldn't wait 5 minutes, couldn't be bothered. He had to be on that metal run right now. And so I cook up my 10 med brews, I get my basic kit, you know, parachutes, hooks, everything I was just talking about, and we go. He's naked. And I guess he's telling me that, you know, like he saw my character stats and he's like, "Bro, you ain't got no points in fortitude?" And I was like, "No, I'm a PvP character. I have 0 points in fortitude because I don't need it. Like I'm focused on PvP, not PvE here." Apparently, he had like 30 or 40 points in the fortitude, or like 20. I don't know, some god awful amount. And that should have been like a red sign, like a warning for me. But I guess he had like maybe less than 200 points in hit points, maybe 400 weight, and then oxygen and fortitude, which, my hands are up in the air. Like, I don't know what the fuck that kind of build is, but whatever, to each their own. So throw out the Karkinos, throw out the Anki, and I'm an aberration main. I grew up on aberration, so to speak. I cut my teeth on that server. I know how to drive a Karkinos. I farmed many a node of metal using a Karkinos, an Anki, or a Doed, or a Roll Rat. And so we get up there, and this guy is basically just telling me how to play the game and how to drive the Karkinos. And I'm like, bro, I know how to do it. He's talking to me like I'm an idiot, and I've never touched a Karkinos before. And so I think the run that he wanted to do consisted of like 6 metal nodes or like 10. It was a god awful low amount. Not worth our time, really. But we ended up doing the few nodes and then running out of nodes. And so then we started gathering all the weight. He didn't know about the infinite weight Karkinos pick up and drop the Anki thing. And so I was explaining to him, like, hey man, like, we should just do a resource run for everything because we don't have anything. And he was like, no, just do metal. And I was like, we don't have to worry about metal. I mean, we just do everything. We need it. And so he just finally gave in. He wanted to do this like terminal upload thing where you only hit metal nodes. You put all the points in a weight so the Anki can walk around. You snipe the metal nodes and then, transfer from the cloud, which is pretty cool. Whatever. I'd never used the transfer tool before for the cloud, so that was new to me. But I was just like, hey, let's just do like a full run of everything, and I could just infinitely load the Karkinos with the Anki and pick it up and drop it until we slot cap. And he was hesitant, but then kind of dinged in his head, yeah, we need resources, so we did that. We started making our way down the hill, and we came across a rhino, a max level rhino that completely fucked us up. And so this part, like, I'll kind of throw, I'll admit that I kind of screwed up. I could have done something different, but I figured that since he was riding the Anki, he would let me know that the Anki's getting low, and then maybe I could, jump us to safety or toss him to safety or something. But he didn't say anything. He was AFK. We're getting hit by the rhino, and the Anki dies in 2 hits, pretty much. And so I'm like, shit. And then the rhino kills him, and I'm sitting there with this rhino wailing on the Karkino, so I jump away to safety. And so now we got him naked, dead. He can't do anything to kill the rhino. Only I can. And so I end up cutting the rhino off a cliff, and we go back to the body bag, and there's just all this metal. So I have to toss him my whip, or maybe he had a whip, I don't remember. But we end up whipping up the metal nodes, and then I have to toss him a couple times to the closest mission terminal so we can upload and get the metal back to base. But it was like a shit show because he didn't tell me like, hey, the Yankees getting low, get me out of here or anything. And there's just bad communication. And the whole time we're farming, he's just arguing with me about everything. Anything that I said, anything that came out of my mouth, he would argue that I was wrong. And he was an I told you so and you're wrong guy. And I just didn't want to like talk anymore with this guy. But he was the one who played the most. Me and him are the ones that played the most in this tribe. So it was just like, fuck, this is my life now. I gotta deal with this guy. And so we got that metal back to base. And that was the end of our fat metal run. We got a shit ton of resources, but like 2 or 3 rows of metal. It's a little baby run. And he was all happy about it because it was a huge metal run. It's like, that was a shit metal run, dude. So yeah, we're back in base, and we got our metal. We put it in the forge. It starts cooking. We start doing stuff around. And so the way our base is set up is we're in our little rat hole in the ceiling, and you've got these 2 entrances, right? And then you jump out of the entrances and you fall down into this huge, massive underwater cave that's protected by those like water barriers. And so he tells me to just throw out the Kinos under the base outside of turret protection. And I'm just like, why? Like, what the fuck? This is like resonating so wrong with me. My name's OPSEC, in game. My YouTube channel's OPSEC Ninja. This is just improper fucking OPSEC. I'm just like, you're going so fucking hard against the grain here. But um, again, this is one of those things. Like, if I could just do it, or he's gonna, throw a temper tantrum. Like, to me, I look at like Karkinos as a high value tame. This is a very high value tame. This can make or break a tribe in a firefight. Like, if we're getting raided, the Karkinos could be the difference between us winning and losing. And he's just willy nilly throwing this thing to heal outside of our turrets, and it's just like, oh, like cringe. But yeah, so I threw out the Karkinos and went on about my thing. Whatever, it's his fucking shit. So it's right about this time that me and the tribe leader have been pretty much playing all day together. And later on in the day, about this time, another member comes on a Discord, and I'm like, cool, one of the tribe mates I've just met. So I introduce myself, tell him all the stuff that I've done, and just try to get to know the guy, because you're playing Ark. We're gonna get close. We're gonna get to know each other a little bit. We're gonna spend some time on Discord. So I just start talking to the guy, and yeah, he's a really cool dude. It's ironic. His name is Idiot in game, and he's actually a really fucking intelligent guy. And so we're having a conversation, talking about strategies, and so we get to talking about like, what's our strategy. And so, like, day one, you watch all these videos of like what's his name, Savi, Kishko, day one tech fob, all this shit. And so we're strategizing, like, okay, what can we do? What do we have? What do we need to get this shit done? And so, priority number one, we need to hit at level 100. We need those heavy turrets. So we start formulating a plan. My experience, I usually farm up shotguns, try to get a good shotgun BP, craft one, and hit a 2-4 times node on extinction and go kill Spinos. Do the same thing on Gen 2. Kill Spinos until you level up. Option number 2, go to extinction and farm canoes with the 2 and 4 times node and power level to level 100. And so we start kind of theory crafting what we're gonna do. And I forgot to mention, you might see heavy turrets around the base. Before I joined the tribe, apparently one of the tribe members did hit level 100 and crafted up a handful of heavies, and then rage quit because I guess maybe he didn't like playing with the tribe leader. That's my guess. But yeah, so like maybe a day before I joined or right before I joined, this guy crafted a handful of heavies and then just quit playing the game. So you might see a few heavies around, but there was like 5, and the rest were auto turrets. And so yeah, we're theory crafting. We're coming up with these plans, and we finally decide that I think we're gonna go with the canoe route. While we're having this conversation, the tribe leader is kiting a Moza into a Moza trap underneath our base. And he's like, guys, we need to tame this Moza. And I'm like, I get it, Moza's pretty cool, but we kind of don't have a base that's protected. We have auto turrets. We don't have heavies. We need to focus on hitting level 100. Secure the base. We need to focus on getting tech to get the base teched out. The game's called Survivor or Evolve or Die. And he's over here, no, we need to tame this Moza. And so again, his name says owner next to it, and it's like, fuck it, let's help this guy tame the Moza. So he's like, I'm taming it, grab this and that. He tells me to grab a rifle, a long neck, and some trank darts, or some of those shock darts or whatever. He's like, bring 200 of them. I accidentally grabbed some pheromone darts, and it's not enough. And we go down there, we don't have enough darts, so we have to ask one of our other tribe members, like, hey, can you start bringing us stuff? And so this guy's like fearing us mats to knock out this Moza. It's again a shit show. The guy is naked. He's taming a Moza. We have to bring him stuff. He's one of those like, hey, anybody at the base, come help me. Come do this for me. Hey, anybody at the base, bring me this. That's his mentality. I'm kind of like, oh shit, I forgot something. Let me go back and get it. He's like, hey, bring this to me. I need it. And it's just, we're all just his tool, right? So we proceed to knock out this Moza. It takes fucking forever. It's tranked. We're doing stuff around the base. And then it finally wakes up. And he wants to go on a hide run. And I'll say, like, I don't have a lot of experience living underwater. Never really done it. I've tamed Tusos for drop farms, but I've never really done the underwater stuff because it's just not part of the mainstream game. You know what I mean? Most people, live above land. Uh, Underwater bases go unseen for a long time because just it's boring down there and dangerous. But he promises me that we're gonna do this epic hide run. The Moses are gonna get us so much fucking hide, and so I'm like, well, yeah, we need hide um, for the canoes. So I'm game. So I go back to base and I begin crafting up a basic PvE kit for underwater activities. I craft two scuba, I craft flippers, I craft med brews. Now we have industrial forge, mind you. So they're not industrial forge, but the cookers. So we're able to mass produce some med brews. So I grab a stack of like 50 med brews, basic kit, and he's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm getting an underwater kit." And he's like, "You don't need it." And I'm like, "Well, we're going underwater, right?" And he's like, "Yeah." He's like, "You don't need a scuba gear. It's Gen 1." And I was like, "Well, I'm going to bring scuba gear." He's like, "You don't need it." And I was like, "Yeah, I'm going to bring scuba gear, though." And he's like, you can breathe underwater for a long time and there's bubbles." And I was like, "That's great. I'm still bringing scuba gear." And so finally he got the point. I'm bringing scuba gear. Like, maybe you want to do things half-assed in your way. I'm going to try to come a little bit prepared. I'm used to be in the army. Soldiers always come prepared. Anyways, guy definitely wasn't in the army. We get on our Moses and we proceed to go on the biggest shit show of a hide run I've ever been on in my fucking life. He promising me all this hide. Everything that we could kill, nothing gives us hide. And I'm assuming that we're gonna get hide because maybe the megalodons or stuff beside nothing. It's just fish meat and megalodon things. The only things in Gen 1 that give you hide are turtles. The big gigantic turtle. I don't even know what it's called. The big walking island turtle thing. And then Moses and leeches or leads or whatever they're called. And so we waste like 2 fucking hours underwater doing this shit. And the beginning of the biggest clusterfuck shit show happens. He's surrounded by eels on his Moza. I'm chomping, he's chomping, he disconnects. He's naked. So I'm like, "Oh shit, I gotta, like save my buddy." And I start chomping all the shit and killing all the shit around him. He starts screaming in Discord, "Bro, put the scuba on me. I'm gonna fucking die to drowning." Because I guess when you disconnect, your character doesn't get the prolonged buff of underwater breathing like it does when you're connected. So I'm like, "Oh shit, yeah, he's right." And so I used that scuba gear that he told me not to bring. He specifically said, "You don't need it." And I swam up to him and I give him my spare. When I put it on him, and his character's just floating there, asleep underwater. Meanwhile, every fucking nasty creature on the planet, like eels and Cinderellas or whatever they're called, are coming at us. And I'm get back on my Moza and start chomping away. He reconnects, get back on his Moza, and he tells me, "I told you the scuba gear would save me." And I'm like, man, the mental gymnastics you got to do in your head to get around the thanks for the scuba gear as opposed to "I told you the scuba gear would work." I don't know. The guy's incapable of just admitting he's wrong or saying thank you or anything like that. So whatever, take it on the chin, move on. We're we're doing this shit show of a hide run. What else could go wrong? So we're pretty much full on fish meat, which we need for babies, and we've got decent amount of hide. After I always think of that. Why does the Indian rain dance always work? Because they wouldn't stop dancing till it rained. It's like, how do you get a lot of hide on hide run? If you do a hide run long enough, you're gonna get enough hide. So 2 hours for a shitty hide run. Um, well, we end up deciding to go back, and the plan is we're gonna hit some nodes, and we're gonna start. We're gonna hit some of those glitches to get the bonus, and then go back to base and craft. He disconnects again. This time, all the fish around him break his scuba gear, and I kill him. I swim up to him, replace his scuba gear with my scuba gear. Now he's wearing both my primary and my backup scuba gear, and I'm without a scuba gear. That scuba gear he specifically told me not to bring. He's wearing both of them now, and he reconnects. We continue on, and we get lost. First off, I don't even know how to get back to our base because I've never been under the ocean in Gen 1, and he can't remember, so we're swimming around like fucking idiots. I'm hating my life at this point because like I just want to go farm boss mats so we can do a boss fight, because while we're fucking around under the water taming Moses and doing shitty hide runs, the enemy, the Hall of Famers and the semi decent players are actually farming for war and getting stegos and prepping for shitheads like us. And so I'm getting really frustrated. And so finally, he disconnects again. And this time I couldn't save him. The fish kill him. And he starts yelling at me, like, why didn't you save me? And I was like, bitch, I saved you 4 times or 3 times. I don't remember. I think it was 4 times he disconnected. So he proceeds to rage quit. And mind you, our Moses are sitting at like 2k health. They're bloody as fuck. We're on the verge of death. We just tamed the motherfucker. It's about to die. And he disconnects while he's being swarmed by a bunch of shit. So Idiot, the other tribe member who's really smart, he shows up and he helps me. And me and him are talking to one another. And we're like, hey, like, just like high stress moment. I don't want to lose the tame. And this dude's backseat gaming through my Discord stream because I'm streaming. And the tribe leader's like backseat gaming, telling me what to do. And I finally told him, dude, shut the fuck up. We're trying to save your fucking tame. Like, back the fuck off, bro. Like, let me do my thing, and you do your thing. You're dead. You're not here anymore. Leave. And so I guess he kind of got mad at that. Saved his tame, saved his gear, saved the meat, saved all the hide, and he kind of mini rage quit. So for the rest of the night, he wouldn't talk to us. He wouldn't talk to us or respond on Discord. He was ignoring us. He was just doing his own thing. And he was streaming on Discord, so we could see what he was doing. And he's active, but he's ignoring everything. We're writing to him, we're pinging him, talking, yelling his name, nothing. And so me and Idiot get all the mats, and we go over to Extinction. We hit a 2x node, we hit a 4x node, and we make canoes, and we power level to level 100. While we're doing that, Homeboy is back in base crafting polymer. Polymer requires chitin and cementing paste. He burned through all the chitin in the base and pulled the chitin out of the feeding troughs and the nanny, causing all of my fucking Sonoma Crops babies to die. That was great. And then later on in the night, once we hit level 100, he's still level like 80 something, and he's like not wanting to contribute and participate with the tribe. Me and Idiot are level 100. It's late. Idiot has to log off, and I decide that I'm going to update the base a little bit. But yeah, so Idiot logs off. The tribe leader goes AFK, and I'm just kind of sitting in the base. And so I'm like, screw, we got some resources. Let's boost our defenses a little bit. So I make this little structure that kind of like overhangs. So I built like a pillar up because we don't have a lot of real estate in that little rat hole that we're in. And so along the edge of the entrance, I built like some pillars up and some foundations and ceilings and a hatch frame to hang the turrets directly above the entrance, because right now we can just be rocketed. We're a 5-minute rocket run and we're completely raided. And so by moving the turrets directly above the hole, anybody rocketing up, the turrets are going to shoot at them. And so it'll at least buy us some protection. We have like 5 autos and 2 heavies. So I go to turn the autos into heavies, and I'm only able to make like 5 heavy turrets because we don't have any fucking cementing paste. We don't have any cementing paste because our fucking awesome tribe leader decided to make polymer. We had a shit ton of organic polymer, but he wanted to make hard poly because he wanted to hit level 100 crafting instead of going with us to Extinction to hit level 100. So it's like late for me. I'm getting tired. I gotta go to bed, maintain my schedule. So I'm just like, fuck it. I'm gonna do the best I can. I leave the turrets up there. I bolster some of our defenses. Our little mesh hole there's no fixing it. The only way to protect our mesh hole entrance is to put like a cliff platform in front of it and hang a chandelier under it, because there's just no building properly there. You can't hang. It's too small to put a hatch frame. It's meshy, so that side's just 10-minute rocket run away from getting fully rated, right? And our generator's fully exposed with a little, generator box floating in the air for somebody to fire arrow. So I take it upon myself to use what little cementing paste we have to build a generator box. It was kind of sketchy because I had to turn the whole base off for a minute and then, pick up the generator to reset the snap point because the generator was on the ground and I wanted to put it on a foundation instead of box. So like I had to like turn the generator off, all the turrets go off, and I'm just like, oh shit, we're gonna get fucking raided by one dude. Place the generator, establish a new snap point. I was kind of rushed to do like the sunken foundation to hide the cables in between, like foundations and stuff, but I ended up rebuilding it, turned the turrets back on, and we're safe. Nobody raided us. But basically updated some of our space, and I built like a second level. Like I said, we don't have a lot of real estate, so I made a spot for our Pteranodons to go up at the top. We had some like decent 40 weight Pteranodons and 40 stamina Pteranodons, and I put the Sonoma crops up top, and I built a little pen for the snails. Because oh my god, so he he ended up using his membership to buy Achatinas, and he put dino leashes up, but you know, everybody knows Achatinas are a fucking nightmare. They wander, you have to leave them on wandering, and they wander into places they're not supposed to. Well, in our case, they would wander off the side of the cliff and fall down. And so all throughout the day, this guy's talking about how Achatinas are falling down, and he's got dino leashes up, but they're still falling down, and the Achatinas are taking up a ton of space. So I was like, screw it, I'm gonna make a little Achatina pen. Now I know you're not in the base, nobody's rendering it. The Achatinas can wander outside of the pen. I get it, but it's still a nice little area to keep them so that they're, you know, nice and tidy, tucked away, not, you know, causing like little collisions when you're trying to run across somewhere. You have to like jump over the Achatinas. They're all in the corner. I also like throughout the day rescued like 5 Achatinas from under the base. Anyways, so I do all the updates, and I'm just like, well, we got heavies. We're a little bit more defended than we were, you know, a couple hours ago. Decided to call it a night. I wake up the next morning to this long ass message in Discord about whoever updated the days fucked up and all the Achatinas fell down and it's my fault and this and that. And it's like, bro, I saved all the Achatinas. If they fell down before my updates. So, you know, don't try to put that shit on me. But then I was just like, wait a minute. I started calling him, you're right, man. Because no matter what you do or what you say, he's always right. You can't argue with him. You're right, man. It's my fault. You're right. So I took a little air quotes ass chewing for, you know, upgrading the base. But you know, like I didn't ass chew him for killing my Sonoma crops, because if I do that, he's gonna get mad and click the kick button, right? Because his name says owner, not mine. God, I fucking hate these little politicky things. But yeah, so I woke up to that, and then he starts doing some more mental gymnastics, and he responds like, God, I left the Discord, so I can't take a screenshot of the message he put, but it was something like, so you want us to be happy that our tames are falling? And I was just like, what? No, I'm just saying that my little fix isn't a super fix, but it's a better fix than what we had before. But, you know, whatever. You're right, man. I'm wrong, as usual. And yeah, so that was the end of day 1 with my tribe. Got a lot of shit done. We didn't get a lot of shit done, but we did get Moses. You know, day 1 Moses. Well, it's like day 6 for them. Day 1 for me. You know, clap. You got Moses, bro. We need fucking tech turrets. Yo, and that's the end of part 1 of the MTS shit show stories. I don't know what I'm gonna title this yet, but it was a. I was very frustrated and annoyed throughout the entire experience, but now that I'm making this video, I'm just laughing about the nonsensical bullshit that came out of that guy's mouth. It was a fun experience. But if you made it this far into the video, thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. If you could like and subscribe, smash that like button. That'd be outstanding. This is my first video in Ark. I'm a new YouTuber. I like talking and telling stories and playing video games, and hopefully growing this channel. So I'm gonna try to put out part 2 of this, and hopefully hear back from you guys. Like, comment, do all that stuff, and thanks again for watching my video. Have a good one.